Hello, Culture Matters podcast. Today is going to be fun. Before I introduce you to our guest, here's a quote just for this episode. You become what you give your attention to. Epictetus. Our guest today is a part of the Culture Matters family. Not sure what they're becoming based on what they're giving their attention to. We're going to unpack that today. They're a mentor, an advisor, someone that helps in their industry, a helper, a friend, and a friend to you, the listeners of the Culture Matters podcast, Andrew Berman. Thank you for coming on the Culture Matters podcast this morning at 5 a.m.
5 a.m. Most people are not going to get their day started for another hour, 2 hours, maybe. And you know, we're already like, I don't know about you, but I'm going to guess to say you've already had a morning. You've already done stuff. Like we've probably actually done more things today at this point than most people will do the entire day. Why?
Well, if you mean that most people don't piss, then yeah. I'll speak for yourself. You look
That's
all
it.
like
You
you.
just woke. I'm looking at the just freshly rolled out of bed and only urinated, Jay.
Yeah, this is a terrible morning, but you look great. It's like you woke up at 3 a.m. You were working out with David Goggins this morning, and I'm fucking sitting over here pissing. Speak for
That's
yourself.
do you like this? Having to wake up like this, like this early in the morning?
I think it's sick. Yeah, I think it's sick. I think that there's something going on, right? Like in our culture, that if you scroll long enough, people are looking for ways to put themselves in a lot of pain. Like why? What's the actual reason? Are we reacting to the general angst in our civilization? Are the phones that destructive to our psychology that we have to put ourselves through hell? Now, at the other side of it, there's a lot of utility in going to bed earlier and getting up earlier. But is it that surface level or is it deeper? I don't know. What what do
Oh,
you think?
so I think for first and foremost, the effort of waking up, early, is a tough thing to do. Like, so my alarm is set for 4:20 every morning. Um, and actually on Mondays it's 3:20. Um, and it's just like the effort, the extra effort it takes um to plan out my day to make sure that I can be there at 4:20 or 3:20 um takes a lot, and it's uncomfortable, especially at first, and it's difficult to get your body programmed, but right now my body usually wakes up before my alarm clock wakes up. And there's just so much that you can get done before anyone is close to wiping the eye snot out of their eyes.
Do you have
And
a morning ritual?
yeah, yeah, sure. I get like I've got so I have a book that I read a while ago. Hal, oh my God, I'm forgetting his last name. It's Miracle Morning. And like it kind of, I was doing some of this stuff, and then it came up with an acronym, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna buy into that. I'm gonna do that, and that's gonna be like my format. And I've expanded on it, but it's savers, it's silence, um, uh, can't remember, silence, which is meditation, Um, there's an affirmation, just kind of reading something to your self, actually. And then there's visualizations, a little bit of exercise, some reading, then scribing. Just basically just doing a journal and doing those things every day. Um, which I just hit. Say 86 days of doing that consistently every day. And almost every one of those days taking like a cold shower. It's these uncomfortable things that I that because we find our success comes when we do things that we're resistant to. We find actually whether it's going to a networking event, whether it's doing something like say, and at least this is for myself, whenever I've been resistant to something, usually there's some kind of breakthrough that I should be doing that. And, you know, to me, waking up ridiculously early sounded crazy at first, but just kind of got used to it. And, it's just like same thing, the cold showers. I I hated it. Now I love it. Now I look forward to it. That invigorating feeling of just turning the water as cold as I possibly can get it. Knowing that um gonna be painful for a couple of seconds, and then after that, my blood is gonna be rushing, and it's gonna be stronger than any cup of coffee. What to the point that some mornings I forget to drink coffee.
Yeah. How long did it take before the cold shower became an exciting thing?
Probably a month for me. Where to the point that um I have to remember, because if and when I take a shower at night after the gym, I have to remember not to take my cold shower, just because I don't want that same level of energy at night. And I now look forward to it. It's something that's you know indoctrinated into my repertoire.
How long does the routine take in the morning?
So it's varying times. Like if I do it, because I have it kind of scheduled out, where I have this little app on the phone that does two things. One, it kind of keeps me time perfectly. And also just keeps track. So I get to see, what my progress is. So I know, if I think about this, it's 87 days straight that I have that I've been doing this. But the way I have it timed in the app, it is about a 50-minute routine, but that's figuring a full 15 minutes for meditation, um, you know, 15 minutes for reading, and just like just a specific time for all these things. But some mornings, like this morning, I wanted to condense it down into 30 minutes, so I did a 30-minute version. So my meditation was only 5 minutes. My reading was basically listening to an audiobook while I'm brushing my teeth. So it changes every day, but it's got to have those savers elements.
Where do you get tired at all throughout the day?
Um, so sometimes, if my day's not challenging me, if I'm not challenging myself, if I'm not, but generally speaking, I'm yeah, tired just doesn't really happen. I if it's happening, it's usually I'm doing some task that is not using my full mind. Something actually that's not elevating me, or something that is just I'm maybe too comfortable doing. And that's the only times that I'll ever feel tired, or feel the weight of you know so yesterday it was 3:20. I didn't go to sleep till um probably about 11 o'clock last night. And I didn't feel tired at all. I just I said to myself, you got to go to sleep, because before you know it, it's going to be 4:20, and your alarm's going to go off, and you're going to need to be ready.
Hmm. So what's been the fruit, the results from this?
um the big thing is keeping a commitment to myself, to say that I'm just going to do this, um has created more trust in myself. And I think, actually, I don't think, I know it also has allowed me to keep my commitments with other people, like my coworkers, my clients, my family, where I've made commitments of things to do. Um, it's allowed me to know that when I say something, I'm going to do it, and I can't just say something just because it sounds like I should be doing it. If I need to process this thought, or this thing that I'm saying yes to, because I will do it. And um because I've done ma many things with self-help before. Some things work, some things don't work, and tried sorts of different programs and system, and usually there's some kind of short-lived thing. I mean, I've got self-diagnosed, like many people in this world, ADHD, and the new systems, new things, new routines, help, but their surface level changes. And when you get into something where you're changing your pattern, whether it's just taking cold showers every day, subscribing to some kind of regimen that you're just doing every day, you keep that commitment to yourself, and by keeping that commitment to yourself, you're going to be able to feel more confident about keeping those commitments with others.
Have you gotten feedback from your sphere of influence?
Um, so it hasn't been directly, like no one has said, "Hey, Andrew, I notice, you're getting everything done." But I'm seeing the fruits of my efforts, in the various different things I'm involved in. It like um the goals. Well, I mean, I should put this also out there. I'm also seeing financial benefits. I've put out just kind of numbers, um, that financial goals to hit, and really those are objectives. My goals are the actions that I can control. But yeah, like I hit the number I wanted to hit for November. Somehow I might hit my number but actually I hit my number for December already. So yeah, it's working.
Would you say that you're working more? Um, is it more, or is it more efficient, or is it both?
It's definitely both. There's no question about it. I've never been as excited or passionate I am about, you know, everything that I'm involved in as I am right now. Um, so I'm not getting tired. That was, as I was saying. And I'm also just finding better ways to work, just being more intentional with my work. Um, Making sure that I'm managing my time, managing my tasks, and doing everything I can to uh, not be in a world of procrastination. I definitely have a lot of my kind of previous efforts involve procrastination. And I still have procrastination. I think everyone has some level of procrastination. Sometimes and very often I've been rewarded for that procrastination because it allows me to think of a situation and have more contemplation about it. But in the end, action um often beats inaction. Um, so yeah, that's
Do you think 2024 is going to be better than 23?
but I think 2024 is going to be better than 2023. You know, so 2023 was a good year. I really can't complain. There's a lot of things um that happened this year that I believe were set up for an amazing 2024. And 2020, I mean, so yes, 2024 is going to be even better than 2023. But I'm like planning 2025 now. The 2024 has happened already. If you don't know your plan for 2024 and you don't have your ducks in a row, um, it's you, and that's not too late, but you need to get going. And I truly believe that those who you know who are not understanding what their 2024 is going to look like and where they're going to be focusing their efforts, um, they are going to be late to the party. So it's great certainty. I know my 2024 is going to be better than my 2023. Um, I know, and 2025 is going to be just a phenomenal year. This is a year where there's not just um double digit growth, but where that multiple growth happens. You know,
Why?
so I believe and for me personally, I think my process of being more intentional with my time, intentional with my thoughts, and challenging myself in multiple ways to do things that are more difficult and pushing myself out of my comfort zone. The waking up early and taking cold showers is just an example of the many different ways that I've tried to challenge myself. Like it's not very comfortable for me to wake up early in the morning and meet my good friend and talk about actually things that I never would talk about. Jay, I don't like being in the spotlight. I don't like actually, talking about myself and like when and having to create content that's based on what's coming out of my mind. I really it's uncomfortable. Like I'd say almost every time we do one of these, I'm like, what's an excuse I can give Jay that I can't do this? But I know that there's growth in this. I know there's opportunity actually in myself. I don't give a fuck if anyone listens to this or not. It's I mean, I hope someone does, other than you know, you, me, Jenna, your editor, and anyone else actually who has to listen to this. But at the end of the day, um, these are things that I think have helped me greatly. Um, and by challenging myself on a consistent basis, um, has allowed me to grow. And by knowing that I am going to do the things that I write down, and commit to on paper or, you know, in my reminder system, um, well, I really feel like I've tapped the potential that I've always known I've had, that many people have always told me I've had. That's something that I've probably just uh, been aware of over the last 5 years. You know, before I would say I was probably a an accidental success, whereas now I'm rather intentional on my success, and my success is predictable in ways greater than, knowing if I pick up the phone 50 times a week that I'm gonna make a specific amount of money.
Have you found that people are now seeking your guidance?
So, I mean, I've always had people seeking my guidance. I don't know. Just trying to think if I feel like there's an impact, and I don't know if I can say that there has been an impact. I mean, I in the media company, um, I have been, but I think it's also that's more of a result of the growth of our organization, and more of a growth of our organization, um, a team where they're all um, not only just embracing the mortgage business, but they're learning at this higher level. So they're almost like you're reaching out to me for guidance, but knowing actually that it's going to be not just a monologue where I'm going to, explain the role of the GSEs, but rather actually they're going to engage in a conversation, understanding how the secondary market works for home equity products. And it's come to this next level where um, it's more of a conversation. So to answer your question, I don't know that I can measure the amount of people that are coming to me for information, um, and say it was greater without the influence of our organizational growth and the growth of just some amazing professionals who are having their own growth moments.
What do you attribute all the growth to in a time of regression?
Um, I would have to say, uh, Vince Valvo, our CEO, has an uncanny ability to find people that I mean, almost every hire he does, I'm uncomfortable about. I'm like, I don't see it. I don't understand the talent. I don't see actually why Vince thought this would be a good person. And time again, he's taken people that have nothing to do with mortgages or finance or business in many cases, um, and has found a way to light a fire under them that gets them excited about the mortgage business, gets them excited about real estate and finances. And so yeah, I definitely give Vince credit for finding these diamonds in the rough that are becoming like mortgage geeks, like to the point actually that where like our social times are consumed having fun talking about the mortgage business. And to me, it's a favorite pastime of mine. So it's great. It really is. It's an awesome thing.
Yeah, how important do you think positive energy is in downturns?
I mean, I think it's everything. Um, because you're not going to be able to measure your successes based on the month end or a quarter end in terms of top line. So your that positive energy is more important than it is any other time. Um, Maintaining the positive outlook and the right perspective. You know, talking to a friend of mine probably a few months ago, and we were talking about how bad their month was. They're having a really bad month, and really for the last few months it's been pretty bad. Um, so they were kind of down and out about it, and it was impacting their ability to make phone calls and be excited about the work that they do. And they're an originator, and you need to be positive. You need to be excited about the work you do, whether you're in a um 7% environment or 3% environment. Um, and we just had this conversation about just we need to take a step back and don't judge your success based on this month. Don't judge your success based on this year. I mean, listen, I just I woke up this morning and I don't have more money than when I went to sleep last night. Like they're like, besides actually, things that I guess technically, investments maybe grew a little bit, but like there was no large deposit that went in overnight. Does that mean I'm a failure today? Does that mean actually like because today I didn't have actually a large check going into my account? Does that mean I'm a failure? Like what happens if it's this week I don't get a large check, going to my account? Am I a failure now? Just because this arbitrary measure of time I pick, says actually that I didn't grow since the previous arbitrary measure of time. No, no. But so we had this conversation. I was like, well, don't look at, this arbitrary measurement of a year. Let's look at, like decade. Have you had a good decade? I mean, they've been in the business for decades. So have you had a good decade? Have you had a great, 3-year run? And it's so funny how and we're sitting there like, talking about this and just laughing about actually how important that is to just have that perspective of understanding that even if you are going to pick just an arbitrary measure of what your revenue is, keeping that perspective and then knowing that you can pivot to other things, other activities, because down markets never stay down. There's always going to be the pendulum, and we're going to see the other side as many are starting to see right now. Um, and I mean, maybe it's besides measuring top line revenue, but maybe there's other things, setting up relationships, getting more context into your database, other activities that you can set, because the reality is, and I kind of touched on this a little earlier, but the success comes from controlling your goals. It doesn't come from controlling your objectives, because you can't control your objectives. An objective would be, I want to pull in $75,000 in commissions this month. That's not a goal. You can't control that. You can't make, your borrower, say yes more so you can hit that number. But what you can do is make sure you make enough phone calls, because those phone calls are the activity that will lead you to that. So you maintain your positive mindset by saying, okay, what can I focus on? What goals can I set for myself that I can control to feel like I'm making some progress towards this objective that you're trying to reach?